At Richmond Waldorf School, we believe that inspired teaching engages students more fully and builds a lifelong thirst for learning. We believe that community is a key ingredient to any school, so we strive to create world citizens in our students. At Richmond Waldorf School, we believe in the preservation of childhood, so children are allowed to grow and develop at their own pace.
Stick, snap, trippity trap, we can use our sugar tap.
What we are offering and the experiences that the children have provide opportunities for the children to develop positive self-concepts and for them to really see the world as good, filled with possibility, and that it is a beautiful place to be.
We recognize the importance of play for a child's social, emotional, and intellectual development. If you develop a young child's creativity and imagination, you prepare her for a life filled with questions that have no set answers and problems that require creative solutions.
It not only encourages kids to use their creativity and their imaginations, but it really demands it. And I think that demanding it and developing that keen imagination in children is really essential to developing keen minds.
Early childhood activities provide the foundation for later learning.
We know that young children engage with the world in a physical way. And the more activity a young child engages in, then the readier that child will be to sit in a desk in first grade and take formal instruction.
It just means the world to me that I started off my education and my career, my path as a student in a place that was really loving and really took the time to focus on me and get to know me and really believed in me.
In the early grades, children primarily receive the content of the curriculum through stories. They've learned how to listen to stories in early childhood. Now these stories become the basis for their artistic work and their academic work. All of the skills that a student's going to require in 8th grade to do algebra and geometry, to be able to write a sonnet, to conduct chemistry and physics experiments, to probe the mysteries of human physiology, to understand history, cause and effect. All of these are already begun in early childhood, where children learn how to listen, how to play, how to experiment, how to explore, how to get along, how to really learn what the world has to teach them.
A learning environment steeped in the spoken and written word nurtures the children's relationship to literature. Here at the Richmond Waldorf School, we have a tradition of oral presentation of both stories and lessons that enhances the students' ability to form mental pictures, an essential skill in reading fluency and comprehension.
Wow, listening to a Waldorf-educated kid in the 3rd grade reading aloud, really understanding the character and using the language properly and knowing where the emphasis goes, you realize they have it all inside.
Richmond Waldorf School helps children become confident speakers and receptive listeners.
Everything that they incorporated, there was always some sort of artistic background behind it. If we were learning about the Greek gods, we were always looking at pictures and drawing them and learning songs about them. And the whole incorporating art with knowledge thing was very, very big for me.
Numeracy is strengthened through regular practice with mental arithmetic and through movement and through drawing.
I've watched my child become and remain very strong in math and challenged by it, really taking it on and having almost a passion to solve it.
I feel singled out when I see people using calculators because I don't have to use them, and it's pretty cool.
At the Richmond Waldorf School, we want children to remain curious, interested, and enthusiastic. So in all of our teaching, we strive to engage the children fully.
Our children are immersed in these languages by means of poems, games, stories, songs.
I like to teach part of myself and part of my country, and I think it brings children a totally different perspective than mechanical learning from the textbook.
In the middle school years, students also learn Latin and Greek.
Through painting and drawing, sculpting and wood carving, poetry and drama, the students deepen their understanding of all the subjects that they study while making connections to the world around them.
With the younger children, we still go over to the park, sometimes just to the playground, but often straight down to the James River. Academically, I think some of the things we've seen down there, for instance, we saw a snake eating a fish one time while the fish was still alive, and we just sat there and watched it for 15 or 20 minutes. And I think that's a biology lesson that there's no way I could teach.
In handwork and woodwork, students create objects that are beautiful as well as functional, and this gives them a sense that they can make meaningful contributions in the world.
Well, I love woodworking. It's like putting everything, all your emotions and things into your work and just coming out with something great.
In a time where music and art is disappearing from other schools, I love that the Richmond Waldorf School has such a strong music and arts curriculum, and that the connection between music and learning and math is still celebrated here.
Our school cherishes community in all its forms and in all its ways. The class is a community, the parents of the class form a community, and the school as a whole form a community. Primary to Waldorf education is having a child learn how to be an individual in a group, developing a group that cherishes and values each individual, and having each individual cherish and value the group.
Schools shouldn't just teach kids how to read and write. It should teach them how to be constructive people in their community for the rest of their lives.
It's just very heartwarming to see them identify each other's strengths and encourage each other. It happens almost on a daily basis. And having that support from their peers at that age of 14 is so much more than having their teacher encourage them. It changes everything for them.
Getting individualized attention from teachers who really act as your mentors and really care about you as a whole person, that early on in life is just, I can't even say how beneficial that is.
As well as creating this great bond with your class, you create this great bond with your teacher. And you almost feel like you have another parent.
I see what happens with Waldorf students. They come out completely knowledgeable of who they are, strong in their understanding of the world around them, wonderful in their social interactions.
Well-rounded individuals, that's my big thing, is I just want to have well-rounded children that can appreciate what the world has to offer.
If you're thinking about sending your children here, come sit in the class, come on an observation day, clear your schedule, and get ready to absolutely fall in love with something that you won't see anywhere else.
People just need to walk in through the doors, and most people, once they make that first step, they can sense it.
If you're considering Waldorf education for your child, you can know that you're giving a gift to your child that will influence the whole world.
I guess what I would say is that there's plenty of time for the rat race later, that they'll be better equipped to handle competition and pressure if they're learning in a slower and more cooperative environment to begin with.
I've had conversations with parents a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, where they say, we did the right thing. I'm so glad we came here. It changed our lives.
What do you think about Richmond Waldorf School?